If you have a low grade and you want to relocate abroad, be it Canada, US, UK, Australia, Poland, any of the high income countries that you want to relocate to, what is it that you should do? So today, this video is directed to people who feel that they have poor grade from their undergraduate studies. And the topic we're going to be covering today is, or the question I will be answering for you is, can you do postgraduate studies abroad with the poor grade you got in your undergraduate studies? Hello? Did you get the question? Can you do postgraduate studies abroad with the poor grade that you got from your undergraduate studies? I'm going to be dissecting this topic in 3 steps. The first one, we're going to talk about what is actually poor grade. When people say I got poor grade, what are they referring to? Then number 2, we're going to talk about what you should never do if you have poor grade and you want to study abroad. And then I'm going to tell you what you should do. That is pretty simple. So let's get started. Before that, maybe this is the first time you're seeing my video. I hope not. My name is Dr. Linda Iheme, and I'm an educational consultant with Vantage Migration. Myself and my team, we train graduates and professionals who want to relocate abroad on how to do that successfully through the study abroad route. Yes, you heard me correctly. Okay, so while we are still saying that, what is it that we want to start with first? The first thing we want to start with is what? We want to talk about what is poor grade and what people are referring to when they talk about poor grade. Most people who say they have poor grade are people who have second class lower, or as it is often called 2-2 from the university, or they have third class, right? Or they have a pass, meaning they don't even really have any grade. They just say, okay, you have finished university, that's fine. You came here, something to show that you were here. That's a pass, like, okay, you have passed, right? This is for people who did bachelor's degree. Sometimes you also see people who did HND, which is actually considered a full undergraduate studies because it's 4 years or more. Right? People who did HND sometimes feel this way, but specifically people who have lower credit when it comes to HND. These are some of the people that always say, oh, I have poor grade. When you say poor grade. But I'm curious, especially for people who are watching me live, what grade do people often get that make them feel like they have poor grade? Could you comment? If you're one of the persons that feel like you have poor grade, what grade do you have that makes you feel like you have poor grade, I also know that sometimes people who have done their masters and maybe they didn't get a distinction, or like people did their masters but they got a lower grade, maybe a B, a C, a D, something like that. They often also feel like they have poor grade. And if you fall into some of these categories that I'm talking about, or the grades that I'm talking about, you have to understand that this video is for you. This is the major reason you should stick around. Okay, someone had just added that people who have a pass from Polytechnic also feel like they have poor grade. People who have a C in masters also feel like they have poor grade. So we've given enough example of who has poor grade and who doesn't, right? Of course, every other person outside of that, that we're not talking about it when we're talking about poor grade. So this video is specific for people who are poor grade. Now, I mentioned that apart from defining what poor grade is or telling you the things that are considered poor grade, we're going to take a look at what you should never do if you're going abroad to study and you feel that you have poor grade. I'll tell you why you shouldn't do that. Then I'm going to also tell you what you should do. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so now let's take a look at what exactly you should not do if you have poor grade and you want to study abroad. What is that? Never, ever apply for a pre-masters. Did you see how many ever I put there? Never, ever apply for a pre-masters. Many schools, okay? Many schools, what they do is that they will tell you that Oh, your grade is poor, start from pre-masters. Pre-masters is not a degree program. It's not a degree program. Like, at the end, you just get a certificate from the school saying that you have done 1 year top-up program or something. It's not a degree program. Never, ever, ever. How many ever have I said now? Please count. How many ever have I said in this video? Never, ever, 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 ever do a pre-masters. All right? Never, ever do a pre-masters. Because it's not good for you. You're just going to waste your money. And most of the schools, it's just like a source of income for them. It's a source of income for them. So they're not going to advise you not to do it. So when you see somebody from a school telling you do pre-masters, don't think, they know it now. That's why they're telling me to do it. No, it's not because they know it. It's because they need you to pay them their money and let them get out, right? It is not in your best interest. If you're even abroad, you know, many of the things that international students have access to or benefit by studying abroad will not apply to you. And many of these pre-masters, they're not even cheap. Like, even if you have the money, don't do it. It's not the best way. It's a waste of your time because you may just feel like, I have money, let me just do it. Don't forget, you're going to spend 1 year doing that program, right? It's a waste of your time. It does not lead you to anywhere. And it's a waste of your money as well, right? If you don't know what to do with that money, put it under your bed or under your pillow. All right? Now, what is it that you should do? What is it that you should do if you feel you have a low grade and you want to relocate abroad? Make a guess. Make a guess. What is it that you should do? Okay. If you have a low grade and you want to relocate abroad, be it Canada, US, UK, Australia, Poland, you know, any of the high income countries that you want to relocate to, what is it that you should do? Apply for masters direct. And there are different kinds of masters. Some people get carried away from what they are seeing on the school website, right? Apply for masters direct. Apply for masters direct. Now, I want to put a clause there. Let's assume that even you feel like you need some upbringing before you go for masters. Instead of applying for pre-masters, don't apply for pre-masters, I told you. Instead of applying for pre-masters, apply for a postgraduate diploma, right? It's a 1 year degree program, meaning when you finish your postgraduate diploma, you get a degree for it, right? And it counts towards something. Even if anything that international students are eligible for, you will get it. Let's say in Canada, if international students are eligible for post-graduation work permit, or in UK, something like that, you will get it without compulsorily having to go and do another program. But if you do a pre-masters, you will not be eligible for it. You'll be required to do another program before you can be eligible for those things. And before you know it, the initial money you felt you saved has run out. And now you need, £20,000 more or $20,000 more to just get the next thing done. And I feel that, again, I'm going back and forth. I feel like doing pre-masters is like cheating you, because most times, because the pre-masters is lower in cost than the actual program, you feel the need to get started, and most times you get stuck half the way. So do a master's direct. Most schools accept students for masters even with a low grade, right? Whether you have 2-2 third class pass, right? I have a student who got MBA admission, which is Masters in Business Administration, with a pass, right? So most times, what is it that make you feel like you can't get started? Most times it's lack of knowledge. It's lack of knowledge. You don't know how you're going to do it, so you just quickly take whatever that the school offers you. Please put it this way: don't go for pre-masters, go for masters direct, or go for PGD. Those are the two good options. Pre-masters is evil, just to steal your time and to steal your money and possibly destroy your dream. Because if you have a savings that you were supposed to use for masters, use it for pre-masters, and at the end you don't have money for the real masters, you are still going back to where you started from, and you don't even have a degree to your name. Just a certificate issued by a school that is not recognized globally, right? And that's not what you want. If you do a PGD, it's recognized globally. If you do masters, it's recognized globally. You should be using your time and your money wisely. So Based on this, I would like to take questions from people who have low grade and they're listening to me right now. If you have low grade and you're one of the persons I'm talking about, please could you drop your questions for me, because I really want to get to answering those questions. All right. So what is the question? What is the question? What is the question? And what will you like me to answer for you today? Let's see. We have some people asking questions. I'm going to be reading from here, so don't mind. Yeah, we have some people answering questions. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to look at questions that people have dropped. If you have not dropped questions, feel free to drop it. Okay. Somebody is asking, can PGD, HND with 7 point something GPA study in Canada? See, I know one of the things people try to do is that when you are finished saying, they will now come, they will pinpoint their own, right? They'll be like, I have 2.75. Can I do this thing you are saying? I already listed all the people, right? I said if you have a pass, if you have a lower credit, if you have a pass in BSc, that's, I called for HND now. If you have a pass in BSc, if you have a lower a third class or a 2-2 in BSc as well, or you have a lower grade in masters, you know, I already said you are eligible. So what is it now with you saying, you know, somebody saying I have 3.47, can I still? Then another person, I have 2.6. So you mean that we're going to take all the decimal points and talk about them one by one before your mind will now encapsulate the information that you are wrong? The question I have for you is, instead of listing your decimal point figure 2.760 1.258, you know, instead of you listing your CGPA for me here, answer this question. Do you have a 2-2 from the university? Yes or no? Do you have a third class from the university? Yes or no? Do you have a pass from the university? Yes or no? Now, do you have a pass from HND? Yes or no? Do you have a lower credit from HND? Yes or no? If you answered yes to any of these questions that I asked, or if you have any of the grades I've mentioned now, what I'm saying belongs to you. So quit asking me if my CGPA is 2.25. Then the other person will come and say my own is 2.30. The other person will come and say my own is 2.35, 2.40. My dear, quit that. Quit. Open your brain to what I've said, and then ask any other question on top of that. Like, oh, if you have external questions to this thing, stop breaking your points. Stop breaking your grades for me. All right? So that you don't miss out, because some people will feel like, even if you said the person that have 2.75 is eligible, you'll be shocked that somebody who have 2.76 will ask you again. Is their own, because their own is 0.76 instead of 0.75. Is this still part of it? That's why I'm giving you the answer. So, as I said, most of the things that make people to make the bad decisions is what? Lack of information. Lack of information. That's what makes people, most times they're like, easy for me, I don't know. Before you go to school, we advise you, please start with pre-masters, and you will say yes. Please don't do that. Don't do that. This is why I always say, attend our free webinar so that you know what we're talking about. Let me ask you, there are some people here saying, can OND holders study abroad? Yes, they can. But do Vantage Migration, we work with graduates and professionals. So let me ask you a question. All the people listening to me here, when we talk about university graduate, is an OND person considered a university graduate? Answer me. If you're watching, type, comment. Somebody who has OND, are they considered equal to university graduates in your location? Please, can you type? I know the answer is no, but I don't know about you. OND holders, are you considered a university graduate? We are the OND holders. Are you considered a university graduate? The answer is no. So when I talk about university graduates and professionals, and you're telling me you have OND, does it apply to you? I'm sure you know the answer. You just want to bring something from my mouth. So make sure you attend our free study abroad webinar so that you can even understand more. Because most times what keeps you from taking action is what? Lack of information. Lack of information. So take a look. So go to www.vantagemigration.ca, right? With this, you're going to be able to what? You're going to be able to get the information on how to get started with your study abroad dreams and all that. So whether you are a HND holder, BSc holder, master's holder, you know, so this will work for you. We make sure that we cover all ends. So I don't want you to miss out. I don't want you to miss out. Now, what is the next thing? I also saw that while I was doing the live session, I saw some people say, you don't reply DMs, you don't reply DMs, you don't reply messages, you don't reply messages. So one thing I want you to know, what are you there? Are you there? Are you sure you're there? Pay attention to this, because this is what is keeping some people. Some people feel like, oh, Dr. India, I want to contact you. I sent you a message on Instagram. You've not replied, my dear. We do not reply DMs. You are correct. We do not reply DMs. It's not by mistake. It's well thought out. So the question is, then how else are you going to contact us? We ask you to send us an email. This is the only way to contact us. So if you send a DM, it can stay there for 10 years. And you know for sure you are not going to get a response. So why waste your time? Send us an email. I'm going to show you the email address. This is the email address. admission@vantagemigration.ca. Take a screenshot. Don't think that your beautiful, well-designed brain is going to remember this email address 2 hours from now. I bet you it will forget. admission@vantagemigration.ca. Take a screenshot. Your beautifully designed brain will not remember this email address in 2 hours' time. admission@vantagemigration.ca. So, what do you do if you want to contact us? That's very easy. Send us an email. This is how serious people contact us. The same time when you are saying, we don't reply DMs, this is, we're giving you the information so that you never feel stranded, right? If you send us an email to the correct email address, there is no reason why you should not receive response within 24 hours. This is the time during which we respond to people. Within 24 hours, most times it's in minutes or hours, depending on the hour of the day when you message us. But within 24 hours, you will get response. What happens if you send message to this email and you don't get a response? One thing you have to look out for is, have you made a mistake in typing out the email address? So I encourage you to check again and correct whatever mistake, and we'll get your email and we'll respond. This is why I keep saying take a screenshot, because imagine you think you wrote the correct email down and now you go to send it and the email is saying email not found, which clearly means that there's an error, right? What then are you going to do? You go back to what you screenshot and check it. So take a screenshot. Don't say you're going to remember. Take a screenshot, my dear. All right? If you take a screenshot, you can comment done so that I take the email off the video. Take a screenshot. Don't argue. Don't struggle with your brain. Take a screenshot. I always say that. I'm a first class holder. I'm not be lying. I know they will not be Bugattis. You know the Bugattis, the reality. I'm a first class holder. Yet I'm telling you to take a screenshot. And this video was made for people that have low grade, right? Which means by nature, cramming and remembering is not even your forte, right? If a first class holder is telling you to take a screenshot, you should be doing that fast. Don't you think so? So again, take a screenshot. If you need to contact us, send us an email. admission@vantagemigration.ca, right? So in summary, you are not getting started or you're not doing the right thing because you don't have the information. And right now we are saying, get the information, attend our free webinar, go to www.vantagemigration.ca, right? Attend our free webinar. And from there, if you have more questions, send us an email, we'll respond to you. If you are really serious, take these steps. But if you're not doing this, then I would imagine that maybe it's not really the right time for you. So, my dear, this is your moment. third class is not a death sentence. You know, 2-2, second class lower is not a death sentence. Lower grade is not a death sentence on your relocation plan. There are so many people with low grade who are currently studying abroad, with third class studying abroad, with a pass studying abroad. A lot even got some form of scholarship or the other. Even those that did not get full scholarship, they take study loan and they combine the scholarship or the study loan and they relocate. Even those that did not get any scholarship at all because maybe their grade was too low, what do? They get study loan and they are still able to travel. Even some people that have these grades, they even have the money to travel, but they just feel like they are not going to be able to achieve this dream because why? Because they feel that, oh, if you have low grade, abroad is not for you. It is false information. It is false information. My dear, take your time today, attend our webinar. Email us if you have any question. Get started. Do not procrastinate on your dreams because your dream is valid. We already know that. So take good care of yourself. Again, my name is Dr. Linda Iheme and I'm an educational consultant with Vantage Migration. Myself and my team, we train graduates and professionals who want to relocate abroad on how to do that successfully through the study abroad route. So I encourage you attend our webinar and get started so that you can actually achieve your dream without the limitation of low grade. If you have low grade, there are many other things. If you even attend the webinar, you're going to see it. There are other things the schools are looking for. The schools are looking for aside your grade. So we show you those things. We tell you about those things. We show you those things and how to get them so that your low grade doesn't become a limitation for you. I believe this is the best news you can hear this year. So take action. Take good care of yourself till I see you again.